Welcome to High School Help 101. Our topic today is World War I trench warfare. We will talk about how trenches were designed and what were the dangers. Till date, many trenches are preserved, like the one shown. We will start by talking about how the trenches were designed. Let's start by looking at no man's land. It was the ground between the opposing army trenches. The average distance of no man's land was 250 yards. No man's land was located right in front of the front line trenches. We'll come back to what those were. No man's land was guarded by a considerable amount of barbed wire. If a soldier ever decided, I'm gonna be a hero by crossing no man's land, they were an easy and open target and would get shot. Which is why it was best for them to stay in their trenches. Let's talk about frontline trenches. They were located at the border of no man's land. They were about 8 feet deep and 5 feet wide. This is where the firing took place. This is also where the on-duty soldiers were located. There was only one place that was in front of the frontline trenches, the forward listening post. It was located 30 feet into no man's land. Soldiers would use instruments such as stethoscopes, trying to hear the enemy's plan. Soldiers would spend 1 week on frontline, after which they would be moved back to support or reserve trenches. These trenches contained first aid stations and kitchens to ensure men in the frontline had medical treatment and hot food. The last part were the communication trenches. Military did not use the radio because they were afraid of enemy tapping it. A person would run from the back all the way to frontline to pass on orders. The trenches were also used to transfer injured soldiers from frontline. Now let's talk about the dangers of trench warfare. Let's first talk about dangers caused from outside. Machine guns. They had become big dangers, especially on no man's land. They were capable of shooting bullets rapidly one after another. Gas bombs, when used, released many poisonous gases which killed many people. Bomber planes. These would get across no man's land much more easily and would drop bombs in the enemy trenches. Now let's talk about the dangers by medical conditions. Trench foot. This made the soldiers' feet red or blue. It was caused by cold, wet, and unsanitary environment. Trench fever. This was caused by a bacteria found in body lice. It caused fever, high temperatures, headaches, and more. Shell shock, a post-traumatic stress that caused insomnia, the inability to walk or talk, and panic attacks. Also, other health conditions were there such as diabetes, heart disease, tuberculosis, influenza, and malaria. Before we end, let's look at a soldier's letter home. It talks about an incident that just happened with the soldier. It read, Dear Mr. Smith, I hope you will accept my apology for not writing before. It has not been want of will, it has been lack of opportunity. I wonder how you all are. I am fairly well now, but was very queer for several weeks recently. I also wonder how you all getting on and should like to hear from you. A matter of about 5 minutes ago, Fritz was bombing us, and I have just got off the ground where I was lying for about 20 minutes. One fellow has been hit but not severely shrapnel. This is his second visit this evening. It will soon be 12 months since I left you. It seems a very long time ago. I am afraid I have very little I may tell you, so will conclude by asking you to accept my best wishes for New Year, and desiring that you will remember me kindly to any inquiring friends. Believe me, dear Mr. Smith, sincerely yours, William Wiggs. This letter gives us a peek into our next video, which will talk about how life was in the trenches. Tell us in the comments down below what you think of trench warfare.